So this is from Crazy Stupid Love, and you guys are at a bar, and Jaren is like a guy who's kind of got all his shit together. He's got all the money he could ever need, kind of a silver spoon in his mouth, kind of family. I assume family, old money. Has more women than he knows what to do with. Women flock him at the bar, and he sees this guy at a bar who seems to be troubled and does not seem to do very well with women. And Jaren has decided to make his mission to do something good in life and try and help this poor soul so he won't be lonely the rest of his life, and try and teach him some things, how to like get women. Is that right, Jaren? Did I get it correctly?
Yep. Yep.
Is there anything that you want to add to that, Ray?
Nope. That's it.
All right, so you're at the bar, right? And you guys are, and all I know is that you've had maybe one or two brief conversations where you came over to him, Jaren, and you're like, dude, let me help you. And then you take him to like a clothing shop, you get him some clothes, and then you bring him back to the bar another night. And tonight's the night where you're like, okay, we're gonna I taught you, I told you some things that you can say. We're gonna try them out tonight.
Yep.
Right.
All right. So, Jaren, by the way, again, you rocked the scene last night.
Thank you.
So I'm telling you that, well, first, it's nice to give you a compliment, of course, but I'm telling you that because this is a farce, isn't it?
Yeah, comedy farce, pretty much.
I don't know if it's a comedy or a farce, but it is a comedic scene. So just kind of remember the things that you did last night. I don't want you to think about it as you're doing it now, but remember, in comedy, the pacing is important.
Yep.
Okay, so we can't take pauses all over the place, as I've mentioned to you before. So I'm going to turn off my camera. All right. So take a moment, you guys, and I want you to think a little bit about what's happened right before the scene started, where you are. You're at this bar, and Jaren, you're kind of like waiting for the right moment. Like, which girl? You see her, and Ray, you haven't talked to a girl, in years, and you're like sweating bullets, like, and you don't know how to do this, but you're gonna try. And so at this point, you guys are sitting at a table, and are you about to send him over to talk to a girl, Jaren, now?
I'm just gonna call women over to our table.
Okay. All right. So you're basically saying So you're basically saying, I'm gonna hey, get ready. I'm sending the girls over now, right?
Yeah, like act cool. Don't be weird. Yeah.
Don't be your normal weird self. Just don't be weird. Is basically what you say. All right, here we go. All right, ready? And think a little bit about where you're coming from, what you just said. Action.
I noticed you only button your shirt button up like halfway. Is that I can't get away with that, can I?
No, listen, Cal, I'm gonna be calling women over to our table here shortly.
We should have some background on each other, right? I mean, okay. I'm in insurance, mostly corporate insurance, and my kids are.
Cal, the only thing I care less about than corporate insurance are your kids, okay? The only thing I really need to know is how many women have you been with?
Sexually?
Yes.
In my whole life?
No. Synchronized swimming. Yes, Cal, sexually.
One.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Not at a time. Total.
What? Listen, we were young. We were in high school. Jeez. You know, she was just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I mean, do you know those kinds of women that can just be wildly sexy and then also, amazingly cute at the same time? I never knew how she did that. I still don't know how she does it. Well, we had kind of a hiccup during our senior year, but we managed to.
Al, I literally stopped listening at Tracy. Okay. Okay, here we go.
I miss my wife.
Shut up, Cal. Fuck. Scene.
All right, you guys. Good job. It's getting there. It's not quite done, but it's way better. Way better.
Thanks. I just miss myself, and I have water all over the floor instead.
Yeah, there was a weird delay in the throwing of the water. It took about 10 minutes to hit you. But that's okay.
Actually, it never hit me. I missed.
Okay.
It went right over my shoulder.
All right. Well, perfect then. You didn't have to worry about getting wet. But
no, I have to work. I got to work on my aim.
Not just your aim, but your timing. As soon as you see him grab the water, you already need to kind of start throwing it on yourself if you're going to do that. Because otherwise, it's just too long of a delay. It's just weird. He's throwing it, and then 5 seconds later, it lands. Like, that's just impossible unless you're, like, way across the room.
Okay.
So, there were a lot of good things, you guys, both of you. I mean, I laughed in the scene, which is a victory. Because, this is a hard scene to get me to laugh in. So I was laughing. I was. The whole beginning was funny. I think it's probably, the beginning is working. I think my main problem right now is it's taking too long. All the gags that you guys, worked on with the whole arms and this and all the stuff that you're doing and the slurping and all that stuff is fine. But you got to get through it quicker, A. Or B, you might want to explore taking maybe those actions and putting them and intermingling them within some of the lines. So that way we don't have this huge whole chunk of stuff going on before you actually start talking. So maybe you start the scene like this, and then Ray, you do this, and then you put your arms, you put your arms down, Jaren, and then you put your arms down, Ray, and it's like, and then you start talking, Jaren, and then you do this, and then you see him do that, and you just have to time it so that it's going to be done like and interweaved in the dialogue. Okay, if you're going to do the same, the slurping bit, that's great, but you have to kind of figure out how to finish the gag. So is it like how do you finish it? Because we have arms, we have this, and the variation, I guess you would say, the jokes come in threes, so would be the slurping of the straw, right? So, we have the arms, and then he puts his arms down, and you look at him kind of like ridiculously. You put your hand up, he does that, and then you're like, fuck. Okay, and then he slurps. Your reaction to his slurping needs to be different than what you've been doing. What would it be?
Disgust. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say to you also, remember we were talking before, your face expresses itself very easily.
Yeah.
When it comes to disgust, and anger or, annoyance.
Confused and hatred.
Yeah, I think you want to veer more because remember, this is not a punishment. This is something you're doing out of the kindness of your heart.
Okay.
So if you wanted to, it could almost be like, oh my God, this is so hard to be nice. Or how am I going to get through this? I'm trying to do a nice thing, but this is really difficult. But it really did kind of look like your parole officer put you on an assignment and said, you got to do this, as your punishment. And I thought, by the end of this, you were going to stab him in the eye. I'm exaggerating, but you you know, you just got to be very aware that very little goes a long way, Jaron.
Okay. Yeah.
So be hyper aware. Innocent, lost, confused, bewildered. These are all qualities that you want to veer toward. Now, if you want to look at it from an organic standpoint, an honest standpoint, then you got to go, well, what does that feel like and where have I been in that position? Who do I know that has done or has done or will do or I've been around that would put me in a state, not where I'm angry, but I'd be bewildered and confused. Has that ever happened?
Yeah.
A friend, a girlfriend, somebody you know, a family member, like, what are you doing? This is just like, oh my God. Like, has that ever happened, Jaron?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
So, do you have a moment in mind?
Mm-hmm.
So, it should do exactly what you're doing right now. It's almost like making you chuckle inside, like the ridiculousness of it, right? That's where you need to be, instead of scowling. So, like the look is almost one of, I can't believe people like you actually exist. I can't believe this is actually real. Am I living in, like, am I awake?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure what the straw is going to be. It could be the slurping, and then I'm not sure. Don used to talk a lot about finishing jokes. So, like, for example, here's an example of like a moment. Like if I did a joke with you, and like, let's say I did a joke where I do this, Jaron, make sure you're watching so you can see how variations work. So I may do this, and then the second joke I do is similar. So your first one is this, the second one is this, the third one has to be a variation of those two things. So for me, the first two really should be very similar. So, you know, if it's this, Jaron, as the first one, Ray, the second one, instead of just being one hand, maybe it should be this, so that it's more similar to this, Jaron.
Okay.
So we have arms, and then we have the arms going to here, and then you drop them. And then the third one, which is your variation, is going to be the slurping of the straw. And then the variation might be, you know, he doesn't have a straw, and Jaron, you give him a look when he's slurping, and then there will be a beat where you're looking at him, Ray, while you're slurping, and take a beat, and then do one more slurp.
Okay.
That would be your punchline. Okay?
Okay.
So, Jaron, you're looking, so just do that real quick. So go ahead and slurp your straw, Ray, and just look at him, Jaron, as he's doing it. And then, so you're gonna have to do it for a little while, right? So just let me give you a heads up. So it's gonna be a slurping, slowly slurping, not while you're looking at him, right? You're not gonna look at him.
I'm not looking at him.
You're not looking at Jaron while you're slurping for literally maybe 1 second.
Okay.
Okay. And then I don't want you to move anything except your eyeballs. And your eyeballs just go up to Jaron, looking at him while you're slurping. Okay. And then wait, but keep the straw in your mouth. And then you're going to wait a beat while he's looking at you, and then do one more slurp.
Okay.
So just try that in slow motion.
I can't finish that one because I poured it down my lung.
I mean, that probably would happen.
I'll start again. I'll start again. Start again.
I mean, again, you can't go that long. There.
All right. Too long.
It should be, yeah, it's like this.
Too long.
I'll just do, it's like this.
Right. Okay. I wasn't sure how long you wanted it to be.
It's short.
my lungs
ahead.
weren't either. Come on.
But you're doing all this shit with your eyes. You can't do that, Ray. It's got to be very clean. You're moving left and right with your eyes. It can't be that. It'll make it messy. It's very
Okay.
clean. You're down looking at one spot and then one
Okay.
spot on 𝗔𝗯. Stay on
Okay.
𝗔𝗯 while you're slurping.
Okay.
Good. Now, wait a beat. You got to wait a beat and then go loud on that last slurp.
Okay.
And now put it down.
Okay. I get it. I get it. I get it.
You guys, timing and jokes make or break a joke. Just watch The Simpsons.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
makes everything. If you watch The Simpsons, you watch The Office, this is all timed. It's just like, it's everything. If you didn't do it that way, I would not have laughed. I'm looking
Right.
at you, �aren, watching him, and that pie, when he does that, like when he's slurping and you're looking at him, the look on your face is like, you're seriously doing that in a bar where girls can hear this and you want to hit on them? And you're looking at him do this, and then he's done. And then there's a beat, and it's impossible. But then he does it louder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And that just blows your fucking mind. And that's after that last slurp, Ray, that's where it's like, oh. And then you take your cup down. And then we're done with the slurping gag.
Okay. Okay. All
So
right.
that would be that joke. Okay?
Okay.
I would just say continue to work on the pain, Ray. Okay, just the pain, the suffering, the difficulty. This whole thing, by the way, where you go, well, how many girls have you been with? And you go, why are you counting? You already know it's one.
Well, unfortunately, I'm following the stage direction, which says that that's what he does. But
It's probably not a
and I
good
thought
answer.
it might be a joke, so I thought it might work. But
I mean,
maybe it's just too much.
well, you got to figure it out. I mean, if you're going to do it, like, why would you? I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying, if I'm playing this role and I know I've only slept with one girl, why would I go?
Well, I thought that was the joke. Is that
What's the joke?
Is that you're supposed to think that there's something else going on, and then all of a sudden he turns it around to one.
But why would you do it to �aren? I'm saying organically.
Yeah, it's a little.
I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying you got to figure out organically why you're doing it.
Yeah,
So
it's a little awkward.
You might be doing it to impress him, and then realize that he's looking at you, not believing you.
That's
so
better.
Maybe you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you look at him and he's looking at you, and it's like 1.
No way. Okay.
Like he knows.
Yeah. Impression. Okay. That's why.
All right. Be careful, �aren. Synchronized swimming. You just can't be that angry.
Okay.
All of those punchlines that we worked on.
I know.
Pull them back. There was one that you did really nicely, but there were some that were really aggressive.
Okay.
And I can see, Don used to say to me, I can see the wheels turning. I don't want to see the work when you're modeling.
Yes.
I don't want you to go, hey, make sure I look this way. You just do it, don't you?
Exactly, yeah.
Well, then just trust the work on the pause and the punchline. Yeah. Instead of going, oh, I got to make sure I punch this word this way. You think we don't see that?
Yeah, I don't know if this correlates, but I don't really seem to care in modeling. It just happens.
Yeah, there you go.
I think that's how acting maybe should be, but correct me.
It's not even a maybe. It has to be.
Like you just don't care.
You basically say, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to see what happens.
Yeah.
And let's see what my body remembered.
I guess it's my favorite type of work.
But here's the thing. Here's the difference. The difference is that you've been modeling for years.
Yeah.
So you can not give a shit and know that you're going to come through.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you haven't done any work.
Yes.
So in acting, you still have to do all the work. It's just that you have to now, after you've done all the work, then take that same attitude that you have in modeling of like, fuck it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it's not like you haven't done any preparation. You have.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting here saying to you, hey, approach a scene and just don't give a shit.
Yeah, for sure.
You still have to do all the work. It's just the reminder that there's 2 steps, just like in modeling, preparing and executing.
Mm-hmm.
We did all the preparing in your private lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's just say fuck it and model. Just do it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going to happen. Maybe there will be a pause. Maybe there won't. Maybe I'll hit the line. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll punch the word. Maybe I won't. I have no idea. So that's the way you approach it. I think you understand the idea.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's the way it's always going to be in acting. Always.
All right.
You're never going to save the scene ever by doing what you think you should do.
Yeah.
100% of the time you'll fail.
Okay.
Okay. So you're always going to win if you're willing to fail and just say fuck it. Even if it's wrong. At least it's real. At least it's organic. At least you're playing off your scene partner. You know, Ray, if I say to you, hey, I need you to suffer more. I don't want to see you in the scene going, make sure I suffer. It'll be terrible. So what you would do is go, before you start the scene, you would go, all right, he says he wants me to suffer more. Why am I suffering? Okay, so then you might go, all right, have I ever been in a position where I've been in a tremendous amount of pain over the loss of a girlfriend or a relationship? Have I ever been in that position? And I would go, oh yeah, shit, I remember that time I was crawling on the floor. Fuck, it was awful.
Okay.
Oh God, I remember that moment. And then you kind of go, it's like that. And now I take that essence and I couple it to this moment. And I don't say, I'm going to think of that moment when I do the scene. I've just trained my body to pair it. Kind of like, you know, how you pair your earphones to your freaking cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
You pair the moment to the scene.
Okay.
And so you let go, and hopefully your body plays the moment, and we'll see what happens. So, Ray, you'll do that preparation by building in the suffering, and now let's see what happens. Now, timing and jokes, it's a little bit different, because you do have to plan them specifically. You have to go, all right, we're going to put a pause here, we're going to time this, we're going to do this, and then the slurp, and do all that stuff. And then what you have to do is you have to run those jokes. If you have the opportunity to do them together, you run the jokes 5 or 10, 20, 30 times in a row to make sure that you got them in your brain and in your body so that you don't have to worry about the timing, and then you just do them.
Okay.
Last thing I'm going to say. When I say to you, I don't want you to act the scene at home to prepare for your rehearsal, for your doing it here. I don't want you to think I'm saying to you, you do not prepare the scene. You do actually run the scene. You do run the scene by yourself, but you don't fully act it.
Mm-hmm.
You walk it through. You're kind of like, if I were playing your part, Ray, and I was in the scene with Jaron, I'm not going to fully act it, but I'm going to kind of half act it. I'm going to be like, okay, so I'm kind of like half saying the lines, you know, and I kind of hear him say his lines. What am I thinking about when he says his lines? So he says, how many girls have I been with? And I go, okay, 1, 2, 3. And this is where I would stop and I would go, wait a minute, stop. Why am I doing this? Okay, I'm doing this because I want to impress him. I want him to think that I've been with 15 girls or 5 girls or whatever. So I'm going 1. This is how I rehearse. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I look at Jaron. So then I got to figure out, when am I going to look at Jaron? That's a time thing too, by the way, Ray. Like, am I going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on 4, then look at him, and then go 5, and then realize on 5 that he doesn't buy it, and then drop my hand, and then look up at him and say 1. Do you understand?
Got it.
Like, all of that stuff has to be timed.
Mm-hmm.
Comedy's the hardest style, you guys. That's why. But you're doing it. You're doing it. Doing great, both of you. You know, when I think of when I first started teaching you, Ray, remember it was all shtick for a while because you came from musical theater? Hi,
That's
Jody.
me.
Nice to see you. can you turn your camera off? Do you mind? We're just finishing.
Oh, I thought I did. Okay, no, I don't mind.
As much as I love seeing you. Thank you. All right. I do have you on the
Okay.
list, though, Jody, and I did send the scene to Mo, so he has the scene, just so you know. Can you hear me, Jody? Maybe she turned off her mic, too.
You, yes, I hear you.
Okay, just making sure you heard me. I did send the scene to Mo. He knows you're running it together today. So anyway,
All right, great.
All right, so anyway, moving forward. Ray, when you first started with me, remember it was a lot, because you came from musical theater, it was a lot about shtick and doing comedy and not keeping it honest. You've improved tremendously on that. So great job. Jaren, on truth and honesty, you came, and your ability to learn timing and jokes and comedy, you're growing really fast. So everything you guys are doing is correct. You're doing nothing wrong. You're doing everything right. It just takes time. It's like going to the gym. And, you've run 5 miles, and I'm trying to train you to learn to run a marathon. So you don't go, fuck, why can't I run a marathon? Well, because you've only been training for a month.
That's true.
So look at it that way. So all you're doing, you're getting A+, both of you. Okay? It's just that it takes time for your body to learn it. So good job. Please work on it and bring it back, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. All right, cool.
Thanks,
All right, so you're at the bar, Ray, and are you a widow or divorced?
No, we're separated.
You're separated. So
yeah.
you've been
It's,
with one. What?
it's recent. It's recent.
So you're recently separated, and you're having kind of a tough time being separated, being alone, trying to kind of learn how to do this again.
Yeah, it was her idea to she was having an affair with someone else. I never saw it coming.
Okay. Well, that sounds pretty tragic. All right. Here we go. Ready? And action.
But I can't pull off that. I notice you don't button your shirt up all the way. I can't pull that off, can I?
No. Listen, I'm gonna be calling women over to our table here shortly.
Look, we should have some background on us, right? I mean, I'm in insurance, corporate insurance, and my kids are well, I don't know.
Cal, the only thing I care less about than corporate insurance are your kids. Here's what I really need to know. How many women have you been with?
Sexually?
Yes.
In my whole life?
No. Synchronized swimming. Yes, Cal, sexually.
One.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Not at a time. Total.
No, look, listen. We were young, all right. I was in high school. Tracy was so damn beautiful, you know. You know, the kind of woman that just can be amazingly sexy and just unbelievably cute all at the same time. I never understood how she did that. You know, and I still don't understand how she does it. But well, you know, we had a little hiccup back in high school, and
Cal, I literally stopped listening at Tracy. Okay, here we go.
I miss my wife.
Shut up, Cal. Scene.
All right, you guys, you're done. Good Good job. Finished. Yeah.
Thank you.
Way to go. Yeah. You guys did great. Really loved it.
Thank you.
I thought that you worked on the timing and the jokes. And I mean, you know, to me, I think one of my favorite things about the scene was the interaction between the two of you and watching you do what you were doing, Ray, and then me turning and watching Jaren's reaction. And there were so many funny moments that, you know, Ray, where you were passionately talking about this meaningful story. And then I looked at Jaren and was like, I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to kill myself right now if he keeps talking. And it was so funny to watch that interaction because to me, that's the way a joke has to work. You know, the joke would not have worked with, you know, unless both things happened. You know, if you do your bit, Ray, and you sit there passionately talk about stuff, and we don't have a Jaren going, oh my God, it's a fucking nightmare. You know, it doesn't work.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's sort of that example of like somebody throwing a cherry pie and it never lands.
Right.
So very good on that. And I also felt like you guys worked on the timing and the pace. You know, I was really worried about this whole thing with the arms at the beginning. And you did the bit at the beginning, Jaren, where you put your arms up, and then he did it. And then I was like, oh, God, please don't make it a whole gaggy scene. And you guys did, and you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you also worked in the straw bit very fast. And you did it in a way that it was believable. I love the scene. I thought it was great. I don't really have anything else to tell you other than just keep doing what you're doing. So both of you were really, really funny. Really funny. And
Thanks,
find something new. Find something new. Really good. Oh, and so Jaren, you have that new scene to do with Joshua, I think. So I need to set you up, but you don't have a scene now. Well, you guys maybe find something else, but figure it out.
Yeah, Ray and I have one now, but we'll find something.
All right. Good job, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks very much.
All right.
Thanks, Darren.